Well, it's another beautiful day here in Lakewood Ranch on Florida's Gulf Coast. And today I wanted to bring to you a current update for the cost of living here in the Lakewood Ranch area. Now, we've seen some dramatic increases in certain areas, and I think it's very important to cover those items so that it'll bring you up to date on what's going on here in the Lakewood Ranch area. And when I go back and look at my trends over what the most popular videos have been, this one that I did back in 2020, it looks like, has over 30,000 views, so I figured that's probably a pretty good topic if we update that. I did do one in 2022, which got a pretty good number of views, but today I want to go over what are the costs that are associated with living here in the Lakewood Ranch area of Florida. So if that's of interest, stick around. I have all the details coming right up. Hello, it's Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company, and in this channel, Living in Lakewood Ranch, we cover all the areas around Lakewood Ranch. And today we're going to go over what are our top 9 costs of living here in the Lakewood Ranch area. So the first thing that we want to talk about is home prices, because that, of course, is the biggest cost of coming here, is where are our home prices. So right now, as of last month, we had about an average price per square foot of $394 for the Lakewood Ranch market. Now, that has been steadily increasing since 2019. And of course, you want to be in an increasing market. You don't want to be in a decreasing market like we see here that was from about 2007 to about 2011 as the prices steadily declined. Our prices over the past several years have been steadily increasing, which is typically a good thing, and I think that that is not just here in the Lakewood Ranch area, but Florida-wide and probably U.S.-wide as well. If you go back and look at any of those statistics, a majority of the prices have gone up, especially during the pandemic time frame. So besides home prices going up, the other thing that has gone up quite a bit, which we don't have a lot of control over, is interest rates. So if you think about the interest rates where they were a couple of years ago at 3%, and now they're closer to 7%, probably between 6.5% and 7%, that's quite a bit of increase. So the way that you calculate how much that's costing you is for every 1% rise in the interest rate equals a 10% decrease in the buying rate. So you don't have as much power to buy when it goes from 3 to 4 and then 4 to 5 and 5 to 6 and so on. So as the interest rates get higher, our amount of mortgage that we're able to buy goes down. So let's look at this for example. Let's just say that in 2020 or 2021, when the interest rates were around 3%, you could afford about $2,500 a month in a house payment. Now that's just principal and interest. That doesn't have anything to do with taxes or anything else. So if you wanted to spend around $2,500 a month and you put 25% down, you could buy an $800,000 house. Well, a couple of years ago, an $800,000 house would buy you a very nice house here in the Lakewood Ranch area. Well, let's fast forward to today, and let's just say the interest rates are at 6.5%. That same $2,500 is going to afford you about $550,000. Now, that is provided that you still put down 25% on the purchase. So if you think about it from this way, if you were going to spend $800,000, 20% of that is $200,000, so you were going to put $200,000 down. If you're going to spend $550,000 on a house, now that 25% is $137,000. So if you're still putting down the $200,000, that's going to lower these numbers. But for every 1% rise in interest rate is a 10% decrease in buying power. So what used to be $800,000 basically today is now $550,000. So to me, that's quite a bit increase in the interest rates, which is going to have an effect on the buying power. Now, about 60% of my deals over the past several years have been cash. So of course this doesn't affect a cash buyer, but it does affect people who are getting a mortgage. The third thing that we're going to talk about is electricity. Now, Florida doesn't have a lot of solar, and the reason that we don't have a lot of solar power here is because the electricity rates are not as expensive here as they are in a lot of other parts of the country. You go out to California where the rates for electricity are much higher, solar becomes much more valuable. But here, the cost of getting solar is kind of prohibitive because the rates for the electricity is not as much. So I have about a 3,000 square foot house built in 2020, well insulated. My power bill runs around $250 a month in the peak times of the summer, and we do have 2 air conditioners. So, but in the wintertime, that really drops off because the AC isn't running that much. So it might be $100, $150 during the winter time. So electricity is not that bad here at the present time for the Lakewood Ranch area. What about natural gas? We have a lot of natural gas communities here, and most of the gas is supplied by TECO, which is Tampa Electric Company out of the Tampa area. And our gas bill runs about $85 to $90 a month. And I think that that would be pretty standard with most of the homes here that are running on gas, because typically we have gas hot water, we have gas for cooking, gas for the oven, and then gas for heating a pool if you're doing that, and then also some of these outdoor kitchens are gas. So those are our items that we run for gas. We don't heat our pool too much during the summertime. You don't really need it, but sometimes in the wintertime we'll heat up the hot tub or spa section. But typically our gas bill is going to run between $85 and $90 a month. What about water? Well, water is a precious resource, and for Manatee County, and I think for Sarasota County as well, most of the watering that's done on the lawns is done through reclaimed water. So the water bill here for our area in Manatee County and Lakewood Ranch, it's serviced by Manatee County, so we have water, trash, and sewer is all on the same bill. And that's going to run about $90, maybe $95 a month, depending on how much water you use. But typically a majority of that is going to be towards your trash pickup, which we have 2 times a week. Recycle is 1 time a week, and then yard waste is 1 time a week as well. So we have very good trash service here, and I would figure probably in the $90 range for your water, sewer, and trash. What about internet? Well, we cut the cord a while ago and we went to Frontier because Frontier has fiber optic, and our bill for Frontier is about $70 to $72 a month because we direct stream everything else. But if you're going to go with cable, Spectrum is probably going to have something around the same price. But if you do, of course, the TV package, then that's going to add to that. And some of the communities actually include some type of internet or cable in the HOA dues. Now, speaking of HOA dues, we have homeowners association dues, and then we have condo dues. So if you're in a condo complex, you could have a condo fee and a small homeowners association fee. But if you're in a typical village, one of the neighborhoods here, you're going to have just a homeowners association fee. Those have remained pretty steady. I haven't seen big increases in those. Depends on what they have that they're offering, and are they offering yard service? Are they offering the cable, that kind of thing? Is it a gated community? So typically those fees run around $300, $350, maybe $400 a month for homeowners associations. It all depends on the neighborhood. Now, something totally different, condo association dues. Condo association dues are going out the roof. They are getting hammered by insurance premiums, and also this new study that has to be done on the complexes that are approaching the 30-year mark. They have to have a study done by the end of December 2024 for a structural inspection. Now, if they're finding any defects in that structural inspection, they have to come up with a plan to have those repaired, and then of course that cost is going to be passed on to the condo owners. So the other thing is insurance. Insurance has gotten quite expensive here for condominium complexes because these buildings are large. That is part of the dues, is that the condominium complex covers the insurance, and so some of those have gotten quite large. I was with a client earlier last week, and she is head of one of the associations over on Longboat Key. And she told me that their complex had gone from $300,000 for the insurance to $400,000, and this year it was $1 million. So they're going to have to spread that cost over all of those owners in the condo association, which is going to be a stiff fee. But those are the prices that they're paying for living on the water on Longboat Key. Next thing we're going to talk about is auto insurance. Now, I came from Georgia, and our auto insurance I thought was quite inexpensive compared to here. So we have 2 regular size cars, nothing real fancy, and we spend about $2,600 a year for full coverage on 2 vehicles. To me, that's kind of expensive, especially when you compare your homeowner's insurance to your car insurance, and there's not much of a difference. But still, that's part of the cost of living here in Florida. Now, if you think about it, because we're not a tax state, you're saving money because you're not paying income taxes here. Even if it's through your retirement distributions, whether you're still earning an income, we don't have income tax here. So that is somewhat of a savings, and I use that in my head to counteract the higher costs that we're paying for car insurance. All right, the last thing that I want to talk about, which is probably the hardest hit, is homeowners insurance. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I've spoken that our homeowners insurance went from $1,600 to $1,900, and now this past year I think it went to $3,400 a year for homeowners insurance. We have an issue in Florida with insurance, and it is not pretty. I think that it's being addressed by the legislature here in Florida, but it has not come to fruition yet because the insurance companies are leaving the state of Florida, which makes it less choices for the consumer, which drives the prices up. So think about that when you're considering purchasing a home here. You might have, and I have good insurance people that I use and that I recommend, and if you get to that point, I'll be glad to share those people with you. But insurance has gotten expensive here, so the newer the house, the better the insurance. The older the house, the harder it's going to be for getting a really good competitive rate. Roofs are an issue when they get to be 15 years old. So you have to make sure that you have a good wind mitigation report on the home when you're looking at buying one, if it's a resale. All of the new construction is going to have a 4-point in wind mitigation already because they're having to build them to the current codes. So you're going to find some savings on a newer home than you will on something that might be 15, 20 years old. But you're probably going to be paying less for the price for the house for those homes that are of that age. So I hope you got value out of this video, and if you did, just click that little subscribe button, ding the little bell every time I put on a new video. And as I've started telling you on some of my other videos, I'm looking for people who are watching this video. Where are you watching from? What part of the country are you in? What part of the world you're in? So if you saw the last couple of videos, I had somebody from Colorado, somebody from Hong Kong. So I'd like to know where you are. And just take your phone and turn it around and shoot me a little area photo or video of where you are, and just say your name. You don't have to put your face on the camera. And I'm going to start adding these to the end of the video so people can see the engagement and where it is that we're actually connecting with people. And if you do find yourself coming to this area, I'll be happy to put you on my calendar and see if we can't find a place that's right for you. And I'm also going to put a link to the Lakewood Ranch guide. So I can send you the new Lakewood Ranch digital guide electronically. So I'll put a link in the description below for that guide so that if you want to find your next place when you're coming here, it'll make your journey here a little bit easier. Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company.
Hey Mark, it's a gorgeous day here in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Thought I would make this little video. We are at Rays on the River celebrating my mom's birthday. What a view!